One morning in 1992, this man's father and brother were arrested by Iraq's intelligence service. Within a day, they were executed.
They came to this market on a Friday morning and said the businessmen were playing a game with the government and the people by manipulating the prices of goods and driving them up. Some were hanged on street poles. Then they took my father and brother, who had just finished their pilgrimage the week before. They were thrown into a cell with the other businessmen in the Ministry of Interior to be hanged without trial. We received the bodies of my father and brother the next morning.
No charges were filed. There was no official trial. In total, 42 men were killed that day, all of them local businessmen living and working in Baghdad. And under the standing directives of Saddam's regime, none of them was allowed a public funeral. The families say the men posed no threat other than that they were actually helping feed local residents at a time when the government would not.
I think the executions were ordered because the regime felt a few businessmen who were trying to help the needy were a threat. It would shake their throne. They would look diminished in the public eye. There was no reason to hang my father and the others. Plain and simple. The government claimed the prices were going up. They weren't. But after the killings, they did go higher.
Stories like this were commonplace during Saddam's reign, but what sets this case apart is the list of defendants. A number of senior members of the former regime stand accused of ordering the murders, and most prominent among them is Tariq Aziz, the former deputy prime minister. Aziz was one of the most high-profile members of Saddam's inner circle. For years, one of the most well-known faces of the now toppled government. He has been in custody since surrendering to coalition forces in April 2003, but until now has never stood trial on any charges. People here are amazed he is at last being held to account.
He was controlled, not in control of things in the ruling system.
I think this case is judicial, not political, as he was a politician. Nothing is relevant to this case.
Ali Abdul Latif is equally pleased. He even went and bought a new television so he can watch the trial while he works, running the same business his father and brother held before him.
The only thing the former regime was fair about was distributing injustice among all the sects. There was no difference between Shia and Sunnis. As long as people acted against their will, they were eliminated. This was an execution without a trial and with no investigation.
This is the fourth major trial to be held here since the regime fell, and it's the latest example of Iraq's judiciary attempting to distance itself from the terrors of the past. And to further illustrate that point, Tariq Aziz and his co-defendants will stand trial before Rauf Rashid Abdel Rahman, the same judge who sentenced Saddam to hang. Owen, Al Jazeera, Baghdad.